2020. We are celebrating Black History Month. With a blast from the past, we present Jamaica. I hope this will jar the memories of the older folks and give our younger members and subscribers a view in how we live and celebrate life in olden days in Jamaica. Here are three of the dwellings that we lived in those days. The first one was made of sticks and a thatch roof with no inside accommodation for bathroom or kitchen. Things were done outside. The second one was made of board and has a zinc covering and has more rooms than the first one. The third one is a more elaborate built from bricks or maybe building blocks and has a cool roof. It has kitchen and bathroom accommodations. Here we have our restroom section. This was an outside toilet. A hole was dug in the ground called a pit, and a little building was built over it. Then you have the built up section on which you sit with the hole, and the lid was covered after it was used. Next, you have the flush toilet, which was an indoor restroom. There was a tank at the top with the water and the bowl at the bottom. After this toilet was used, the chain was flush pulled to get rid of what was inside the bowl. Here we have the self eater, which was mostly used by tailors. In order for this self eater to be eaten, coal was put in the gut of it and it was closed, and as it gets hot, it was used. Next, we have the steel iron. Three to four was used in the cold pot, and as they eat, the cloth was used to wrap around the handle, and you use banana leaves or a piece of cloth to clean the face of the iron, and then you iron your clothes. Next, you have the iron board, where the clothes was ironed on. In the coal pot, you could either use coal or wood. Mostly coal, however, especially when you iron, as the wood would block the iron and maybe soil the clothes that was being ironed. These are martyrs. In this martyr, the first one was made from dug out wood. There a piece of log was thick piece of log was get and it was dug out, and this is used for grinding coffee, cocoa, corn, and such like any grains that need to be ground. The second one it was made from stone and it's the same use. It used to ground seeds that was used in the kitchen and in the home. Here we have lighting for the home. The first one is the home sweet home, the shade of the lamp, and it was used run by kerosene oil. This shade had to be cleaned every morning, clean as penny whistle and shining for it to give bright light in the night. The second one was a lantern. It could either be used, the fluid used in it was either gas or kerosene oil. The third one is a tinning lamp. It has a beak inside, which was either cloth or a wick, and oil was used in it. It was lit at the top and it gives light. The fourth ones are bottle torch, which was used mostly on the outside. If you were going to the toilet in the night, the outside toilet in the night, or if you have to go to the outside kitchen or anywhere you have to go in the night, and it was very dark then because there was no electricity. Here we come to the coolage and storage section. First, we have this big mug. It was used to mix drinks like sugar and water, soursop juice, carrot juice, any of the drinks that you want in large amount for the family. It would be mixed in this mug. Then we have the water storage jug, which keeps the water very cool. This jug keep the water so cool you think you are drinking ice water. Then you have the next jar, more like a pannier jar. It was used for dual purpose. It was used for storing water or for storing grains such as rice, flour, sugar, or such the like. Next, you have the water drum. In most places, there was no running water, therefore, they would have drums and they would set these out by the side of the house. And as it rains, the water would run off into these drums and the water was used. Here we have the sewing machine. This sewing machine was operated by hand. There was no electricity connected to it, so it has to be operated by hand. The second one also has no electricity applied to it. It was called the foot machine. Underneath you have the pedal, whereas you spin the handle up the top, then you pedal with your foot as you sew along. Here we have the pipes smoking by most men, especially the grandfathers. It would be loaded with the tobacco and then stuffed in the hole that you see there, then light. And then the long part would be put in the mouth and pull in and puff the smoke. Then you have the cigarette next, Craven A, which was used mostly by the younger ones. And it has the cigarette in it. You'll take it out, light, smoke. Here we have two pails. These were used mostly by the female. They were used to wash on the clothes and sometimes to take a little bath. Then we have the face basin, which was used to wash the face. And the male sometimes would use it as they shave. They would catch the water in it, and as they shave, they would use it to wash off. Then we have the chamber pot, which was used in the house at night. Because there was no inside bathroom, these was used to relieve the bladder at nights. Here we have Miss Lou. She developed our folklore in Jamaica. She was famous for our ring ding on JBC TV. Next we have the maypole dance. This was done with a pole and a string around it, and the players would go around as the music was played. Then we have Kumina, which is mostly done in St. Thomas and Portland. And then we have an example of our national dress, which is called the bandana. Here we have the market truck. People would get this truck ready from overnight, Saturday, Friday night, and it would pack with the produce that would be taken to the market for Saturday sale. This was mostly transporting people in the country area. Next, you have the country bus. It was a passenger bus and it also carried produce to the market. This bus was run almost every day of the week. Next, you have an example of the ladder. The ladder was used as a taxi and it would carry two persons to the front along with the driver and four in the back. Here we have the mule and cart. A cart was attached to the mule. Sometimes one mule, it depends on the amount of load to be carried. When there is a lot of load, then two mules would be attached to the cart. You have the person operating the operation sitting on the cart. Next, you have a little mini car. This was privately owned and driven. Then we have the train. The train was it could be the passenger train, boxside train, or market train. These would travel in the rural area and it would travel on line. It was a very nice experience to be riding on this train because they take you through the country area and you get to experience the bushy area of our island. Here we have this lady demonstrating an example of cutter. This cutter was used, it could either be made from banana trash or a piece of cloth. It would wrapped in a circle and placed on your head, then the load would be placed on top of the cutter to alleviate some of the burden of the load on your head. Here in the next picture you'll see this man, a cutter is on his head and a bundle of firewood is loaded on his head. so in order for the wood not to squeeze his head. Next, we have the mule and the cart, which was explained earlier on. In this case, you have two mules attached to the cart. Here we have the BWIA airline. This airline operated out of Britain. It takes most of our farm workers in the 1950s from Jamaica to England or Britain. Next, you have the Air Jamaica, which was owned by Jamaica. But over the years, it was sold out, and we no longer own this Air Jamaica aeroplane. This is an uncart. It was a very useful tool. It was used to transfer almost everything from building material to market produce to even sometimes people who were sick and need to go to the hospital that lives in remote area. This is the donkey. The donkey is a burden bearer. It was also helped to transport ground produce from the farm that way up into the country area, hilly areas. It, two hampers were attached to the donkey and the goods were loaded into the hamper. The person operating would either ride the donkey or walk along if the load was too heavy for the donkey. That's all for now. We invite you to watch part 2 coming up shortly and in quick order. Thank you.